Review TV, welcome back to the channel. We're doing another video with the beast in the background here, the Can-Am X3 Maverick. It's a turbo. If you haven't tuned into the channel before and you're just falling into the channels now with this particular video, today we're going to do a spare tire mount rack, which will actually mount in the back, and it will proceed to put the tire a little bit above the roof area, which gives us plenty of room still to be able to put other added accessories into the back of the unit. Today I'm going to show you guys, which is a series of 3 videos. We have the toolbox, which is also the cooler on the back of the unit, which was the first video. The second video is going to be this particular tire rack, and then the third and final video will be the chase lights. We wanted to show you how we incorporated our own series of accessories that we chose out to put on the unit. They weren't necessarily OEM Can-Am accessories. These are aftermarket ones you can buy on Amazon and different places like eBay. So with that being said, let's go ahead and we'll get this stuff unpacked and we'll lay it on out so you can see what we have, and then we'll get started. Okay guys, so it's the Kemimoto. I've used some of these other products. I have some door bags and a video. I'll drop that in the link in case you guys want to check out those door bags. But today is the Kemimoto spare tire rack and mount. Pretty simple stuff. We're going to be putting a crossbar on top. Then when we're done with the crossbar, we're going to be adding this to the top of that, and then that's where the tire will sit on the very top, which keeps it out of the way. This is a pretty simple setup. You got basically your hardware that comes with the actual lug nuts, which is a cool thing to actually put on the bolts here. So when you're mounting your actual your side-by-side tire on there, you don't have to find a spare set of lug nuts. Has all the bolts. The directions are super simple, guys. Super simple. As you can see there on the directions, it tells you just a few little bolts that are going to bolt this rack on. It's going to bolt into the pre-drilled holes that come on stock on your machine. If you have a 2020 or I don't know if it's a 2018 or 2020. I don't do all the research, guys. I leave that up to you too. Comes with a couple of these clamp brackets. They're going to kind of clamp around the bar there, and then you're going to put your bolts in. Comes with 2 of these. Okay guys, so I wanted to go over the back area of my particular unit. This is the setup I chose, and I'm hoping it's all going to go together from the research and the measurements and things that I've put together as far as all these 3 different accessories. They look to be able to fit correctly. I have the soft Can-Am Bahimi roof. The only thing I'm going to have to do is just take these couple straps off, move them to the back so I can put the crossbar on. These existing bolts that are on this roll bar that come stock on this machine will be the ones that are actually going to go through the roll bar there. So that's kind of cool. Not the roll bar, but the crossbar for the spare tire mount will mount onto these bolts. That'll go from here over to there, and then that tire mount's going to come up, and it's going to keep the spare tire somewhere in the area of this part of the machine. So that way we keep all this back area somewhat clear. I'm not sure how your rear view mirror view is going to be when you're driving with the toolbox, speakers. Then eventually we're going to have that final install, which will be the chase lights. But it seems to all be able to fit in this one area. And they're not all stock OEM. These are actual aftermarket parts that weren't designed necessarily to go together, but we're trying to put them together to see if this is going to work. Okay guys, some recommended tools I would just tell you to have ready ahead of time is a ratchet wrench, an extension, and a T40 star bit. You're going to use a 1/2-inch socket on an extension. I'm using my electric ratchet wrench, so if you don't have one of these, you'll just use another one of these socket wrenches. We're going to go ahead and remove the strap off of our soft roof. This is right here. We're just going to put it back, and that gives us plenty of room to work. In fact, I'm going to do that on both sides right away. What's cool about these roofs is they come apart easy enough for you to work with. You guys keep in mind too, I have these speakers here, and I mounted this particular style of speakers, and I did the install, so check out that video in the description below. Description box below. This video was not intended at first to make all these items fit, but now that I've been putting them on, it's kind of a cool setup. So if you're not trying to get a Series 5 stereo and all these crazy things, and you want a little bit more reasonable priced items, consider this setup. Alright, T40, and then your 1/2-inch. Remember guys, keep one of those little tiny magnet bowls nearby so you don't lose your bolts. has to come out. I don't know if the center of this is threaded too, it may be. And I don't think you have to take these bolts out all the way because of the way the rack is gonna sit. So we're just gonna get them taken out halfway. Something new, huh? Okay, so you can see I've got both the bolts semi out. Do that on both sides. Once you get that done, you're ready to go to just start putting on that bracket. Loosen up this one. I wouldn't do it all the way so you don't lose the nut. Just get to where you can pull it off by hand the rest of the way. You can keep all these on top of your little cooler box there. And by the way, guys, if you haven't seen that cooler box, check it out. It's in the link below, or the link's in the description box below. You guys can see the install of that and see how useful that comes in. All right, now that we have gotten that done, let's see if we can attempt to put the crossbar in. Okay, crossbar is gonna sit up like this. It has an R for right and an L for left. So obviously it's telling you which side you guys should be mounting this on. If you don't follow directions, you're gonna find this not fitting correctly. What it's gonna do is it's gonna fit in between your two roll bars like this. And then the other one's gonna fit right here like that. And then what you'll do is you'll just stick your bolts right through. And you can see it gives me about maybe a 3-inch clearance, possibly 2.5-inch clearance between my speakers and the roll bar. So you're just gonna kind of look around here. And then guys, it's not necessarily going to be that easy to make this fit. There might be some small adjustments to get these bolts through. But once you figure it out like this, it goes just that smooth. Don't panic, don't be in a rush. What I recommend doing is just hand tightening everything to start. So you can get it all together, kind of get a pre-vision of how it's gonna look, to make sure it's all gonna fit. If you have the right tools, you can make this an easy install. I'm not gonna tell you the price of this, as opposed to the hydraulic one that has a flat board here. I don't know exactly what the name of that one is, but it kind of lifts up. You can put your spare tire and an additional cooler. That guy's like $500 to $600, so you might find it cheaper. It just depends on where you're going, but I personally wouldn't recommend that one. Remember, you're gonna just tighten these up really nice. And guys, you can also consider too, if you're not big on the just the screws that come with this and the nuts, you can take a little bit of the blue Loctite and put on your threads. That'll just ensure that everything's going to stay together tightly. Let's reverse everything on here. Let's give it a little bit of a torque. Just like that. Do this one next. Hey! Calm yourself down, I'm doing a video here. There ain't no biting anyone right now. So I would take this too, guys, and just give it a little bit of an extra hand torque on this side. Like that. Don't do it too much because you'll actually dent the roll bar by putting the screws in too tight, so just snug them up. And that's what the whole point of using the Loctite is, to make sure these don't keep coming out. Nice. Alright. I'm seeing these two little indentions here, guys, and I was thinking to myself, wow, did I just bend those by putting this on? But it's the way they keep this exterior bracket that goes over your roll bar from sliding up and down, as they kind of indent it out. So that's all factory. All right, let's do this one too. Tighten it up. This just makes it easier when you have these types of tools ready to go. It blinks when it's at torque spec or reasonable spec. And then, like I said, you can always leave your ratchet wrench on and just give it a little bit of a hand tight, just like that. Maybe a quarter of a turn. That. And that's the crossbar. That was pretty easy. Alright guys, so here's the instruction manual up close. It does give you a list of different particular bolts and nuts and washers that come into this kit, including these two pieces here that go around the roll bar. So as you can see, this is the stash. So if you get this particular kit and you don't have exactly what you're seeing here in the video, then you might be missing something. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of this video started. Okay guys, so we got the rest of the bolts here. In the kit, you're gonna have 2 number 4s and then 8 number 7 bolts. You're gonna have a number 8 Allen wrench bit and a number 6 Allen wrench bit. You're gonna have the 2 like half couplings that'll go over this bar, which is this one here, and then the bolts will go through to keep it mounted correctly. So what I would suggest doing is getting your 2 little brackets, putting your 2 number 7s or number 4s, whichever one that was, through there ahead of time. And especially if you're going to be doing this by yourself and you don't have an extra hand to hold stuff, then what you can do is take this, you're going to lift this up, and you're going to stick one in. I go to the furthest one away first, and at least just get it started. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have to feel it, because it's actually got a threaded area of it, which is cool, because it threads into the bracket itself, not just into another nut or anything you have to hold on the other side. Once you get it through, then you can kind of more or less start it on this side too. Not always easy though, like I've said in other videos. Sometimes you gotta kind of just start it by hand. And make sure guys you don't cross thread it. Make sure when you're threading it in that, you're doing it right, because if you mess that up, it's going to be a pain in the butt to fix. I would suggest on this one, just to be safe, using a ratchet wrench. I wouldn't use the electric wrench at first, just so you can get the feeling that you basically got the right threading going, so you don't end up doing anything that's going to mess it up. Okay guys, so we got the first 2 bolts in, which is the number 4, and then we have 8 number 7s. And remember, using a number 6 and a number 8 Allen wrench bit to be able to tighten these bolts. These are just going to go into the back, and then they have a threaded area where it will tighten into instead of using a nut. So if you can't get these to line up correctly at first, loosen this big bolt, kind of move it around until they get each and every one of these bolts started. Once you're able to get them started, then I would just move on to the next one, and you can come back and tighten each one of these. Okay, so number 6 ratchet, it's gonna go inside. And I wouldn't do it. Don't do it completely tight. In fact, I'm gonna back that off just a little bit until I get most of them that tight. Battery's starting to go dead on this, so we'll just go do it kind of like a tire pattern. Go to the opposite one next. And then once you get done, you can hand tighten it to finalize it. See how it's going through that bottom threaded area, guys, which I was talking about, so you don't need a nut. This is how it's going to kind of go. I like the way this little snap-on electric ratchet wrench blinks when it gets to the max torque, so you're not just sitting there thinking you can force it. Last bolt. Oh yeah, look, that shakes the whole machine. Look at that, guys. Tell me that ain't sturdy. All right, we'll come right back to do the final mounting of the tire up here so you can see what it looks like. Okay guys, so we're just torquing down these bolts. One last thing I wanted to mention is if you do use your stock bolts on this bracket, the black ones instead of the silver ones that come with it, If you do use the silver ones, you're gonna need to use the washers and the lock washer that come with it. These ones are built with wide enough heads that they act as a washer, the stock ones that already come on this machine, so it's up to you. Just know you'll have extra bolts and washers. That's what I mean. You just take your wrench and just come in here and just fine tighten at it, torque those down. Make sure you ain't going nowhere. Because if you're hitting jumps and stuff, guys, or anything rough, you're not gonna want this to break off and you're tired of hit someone or fly off and hit another machine in your area. So, and don't forget to tighten the two number 7s too. And that's gonna take the number 8 Allen wrench. And those are the ones right here in the center, the two big main ones. As you can see, they're loose. So my ratchet wrench, my electric one, was already dying. So it didn't tighten these like they should be, but make sure you get in there and do that, because if you don't, you're gonna regret it. So I've got the back tire, which is a 28 by 11 by 14 spare and rim. Over here, 28 by 9 by 14 tire and rim. They both fit on the rack. So whether you're using the thinner looking tire or the beefier back tire, and you want to carry the two different sizes, if not, you can put one on your storage box and then one up on your tire rack, and then just strap one down. You'll still have your storage box, your tire, and then a spare other tire. Now, if you only have one size for all 4 tires, which some of your machines do, then you'll just take one. You won't have to worry about 2 different sizes. But either way, if you were to actually blow out a back tire, you could still use the front spare and put it on there just to get you back to your site, and then swap them out correctly. So let's show you guys how this fits. Don't forget your lug nuts, 4 of them. And that's how it sits. And then of course your 4 lug nuts. You just take your lug nut wrench, or don't torque these, guys. I'm telling you right now. As far as these ones go, don't torque them. They're gonna be a little bit tight at first because they have some paint. Looks like they put paint on these. So they're gonna feel like they're screwing on tight. Just get a regular torque wrench by hand and tighten these up. You can even spray a little bit of spray on those, and that'll actually make the threads easier to tighten these. Tighten them down really good, and then that's how that's going to look. So we'll show you guys what it looks like from down here. Okay guys, so this is the back view. You're seeing what it looks like from the height of the roof. Looks like if you're gonna actually wanna see where the roof is, you're about 3-inch clearance there. From the back of your box to the actual roll bar, you've got 13 inches clearance. From the bottom of your plastic area on the actual vehicle up to the tire, about 18 inches. You have roughly 9 inches in between your box and your tire there. So you have plenty of room all the way around if you think about it. From the roof out to this way, there's 12 inches there. So I wanted to just let you guys see what that is. Final thing here that we're gonna do, guys, and I like to just streak in front of the camera like that, all rude, but is I was telling you I wasn't sure how I wanted to add my final product on the back here for this area. So what I did is I went ahead and I got the chase lights that I've been mentioning in some of my other videos that I've been telling you guys I'm going to install. Well, I've been waiting for all the rest of these parts, the spare tire rack. They finally came in, so now it's time to do what I want to do. And what's great about this bracket is no matter where I put it here, the only gap between seeing these lights from that view is this little center, and there's already a groove there anyway. So when I mount this onto this bar, or if I want to use these special cool clamps, I'll go ahead and throw them back there, and then they'll come out and go right onto my bar and hold it out right there. You'll still be able to see the majority of the light. So I thought that was kind of cool. That everything that I decided to put on the back that wasn't OEM or Can-Am brand necessarily, with the exception of this box and this roof here. The Kemimoto spare tire mount, and then the Go Hawk speaker system. But all these are in videos on the channel, so if you missed any of these and you're just now joining us, you can go back and check out the previous installations. I still have my room here for my whip lights. I can't put them on in the garage because when I gave the tune up on the suspension, the Fox suspension tune, my unit lifted up about 3 or 4 inches, so now I don't have room to put on the whip lights in here. But everything has come together beautifully. Everything shows nicely, everything even looks correct. The speakers look correct, the view, the measurements, all that stuff looks nice back here. And when I finally put my chase lights on, you'll still be able to see them clearly in this whole area, like I showed you with the measurements about the distance. And I can still see partly with my rear view mirror out this way. I may not see clearly, but I can see vehicles behind me and more or less what's going on. So that's awesome. So keep an eye out because I'm gonna be doing that chase light video here real soon now that we've gotten this one done. And of course, we're not done, guys. There's other things going on. This is just the back end. So tune in for that video. It'll be coming up soon on the channel. Check out all the other videos. We just did a military MRE beef brisket. If you missed that one, check that out. Put a link in the description box below. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for showing all the love, and we'll see you guys next time.